What a market. Oh, shit. Oops. What a market open we have this Sunday. We have equity indices gapped lower, dollar index gapped higher, euro down, dollar Canadian up, all on the backs of Trump tariffs. So this whole week before, markets were in and out, concerned or not, the tariffs that Trump is going to impose on Mexico, Canada, and China. Throughout the week, there was a lot of volatility. It'll move up and then move back down. So now we have a confirmation as Trump went ahead and put those tariffs in on Saturday. Now we have the price action reflecting what could happen, which tariffs in this case is inflationary. Going to the software here, we have the dollar being bought heavily and its counterparts being sold heavily. Swiss franc, Canadian, New Zealand, Australian, Europe, pound, all being sold off. If we go to the COT data history for the euro, we have its net positioning continuing to grow in the negative. If we go to the dollar here, net position continuing to increase. So going to the chart here, I want to go over what I was going to in the last video, and I didn't record it because I was very sick. I had strep throat, so I had fever and a cough that would not go away, and now it's finally gone. So last week, in what should have been the previous weekly outlook, I actually took some losses. So I kept getting beat up here. I took a short in this area, I got taken out. I took another short in this area, got taken out. And that's because I was anticipating for this trend to continue going lower, and it didn't. So we started trending upwards a little bit, and I decided that I'm just gonna let to see what the price action was gonna do once we get to this higher time frame zone. I wanted to see a clear rejection. We have this double top and this move lower, and once we started seeing some downward momentum off of this level here, then I thought, okay, maybe I can go short again. And so that's what I did. So last week I went ahead and built a short position here, and then I added one here once we broke this level that I determined was a important level. If it got broken, we could see some more bearish movement, and that's what we did. It was small, but it's okay. We were able to make up for the losses that we had last week and some. So now we're in the profit here. The only concern is we have this really big gap, and the gaps tend to get filled. Sometimes they will continue going in the direction and they get filled eventually, or sometimes they get filled right away overnight. So that's what I want to keep an eye on. I want to see if we continue getting some bearish movement. I can just trail my stops or just liquidate the position, or if I start seeing that the gap's getting filled, no problem, I liquidate for a profit, and then I have an opportunity at a better price to continue the bearish move. Ultimately though, my target is going to be this parity level. This is my target level here. So as far as for the dollar Swiss was another position that I have open. We are in the profit here too. Small position, but nonetheless, it was able to make up for all of our profit or all of our losses last week and some, and now we're back in the positive here. So I added on this move lower, added again, and now we're in this area. I want to target the previous highs here. This area here is when the dollar hit the 110 level and then it rejected down. So I want to see how it gets in this zone here. If the dollar can continue past the 110, then I might move my profit a little bit higher, but that's it. This is the one that pains me. The dollar Canadian is one that I've been intraday on. I usually flatten my position because what was happening last week is Trump would say something about tariffs. The dollar Canadian would appreciate very, very fast, and then it'd come right back down. And what I think it was just short sellers and buyers kind of calling bluff. Is it just a negotiation move or more of a threat, like, hey, I'm going to put this tariff on and it'll be an opportunity for Canada to visit the negotiation table and say, okay, let's work something out. But it turns out that, as of yesterday, Saturday, he did go ahead and put 25% tariff on Canada, Mexico, and 10% on China. So he's not bluffing. Apparently, and now on the street the concern is about Europe. I'm gonna go ahead and stay pretty hands off here. I'm gonna let this thing ride. If it starts retracing and filling the gap, I'm just gonna liquidate and wait for a better entry. But this continues to add to my dollar bullishness bias, at least for the first quarter of the year. But for now, tariffs are inflationary. The mass deportation is could be considered inflationary, because one could argue that a big majority of the workforce is dependent on that population, and if they're gone, well, who's going to fill those jobs? So those things could continue to add to this dollar bullishness bias that I have. Any feedback or any ideas that you guys may have that are in line with what I think or could challenge what I think, I'd love to hear it, because I always want to be open-minded and see where could be an opportunity to go ahead and flip on the move. But thank you for watching. Have a great week.